What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of a podcast-like thing video with Mom and Brary, where we're just going to talk about anything and everything that we feel is relevant to today in 2024 as the shit show that the 2024 election is turning out to be. But nevertheless, today I would like to start off by talking about this most recent occurrence where a Air Force active duty soldier decided that it would be a great idea to literally light himself on fire in front of the Israeli embassy as a means of protesting Palestine.
So, okay, I don't know much about this situation. Why? What's his? Where is this? Do we know?
Okay, so as of right now, everything about this that's being posted on Twitter says that Aaron Burnshell, 25, who has actually passed away due to his self-inflicted injuries. It says that it's in front of a Israeli embassy in America. I would assume that's somewhere in California or DC, close.
Okay, yeah, because my first initial, the reason why I asked is my first initial thought was, I thought it was at an American embassy in Israel.
It says it's in DC.
It's in Washington, D.C.
So it's in DC. Okay.
The Israeli embassy in DC.
Okay, yeah, again, I heard this like kind of in passing yesterday, and I was kind of confused what was going on. But okay, well, there's a video here, so I'm going to play the video. I'm just going to play like the whole thing, I think. So
from the beginning of him talking?
Yeah, if we want to talk, just let me know.
Yeah.
And then we'll just kind of...
Let's just...
Yeah.
No. I am an active duty member of the United States Air Force, and I will no longer be complicit in genocide.
I would just like to point out that the person videoing this is also complicit in probably his murder. Or his suicide.
His own murder. It's not a murder, though, is it?
It looks
suicide.
like he's holding the camera. It looks like he's holding it.
Looks like he's holding the camera?
Oh, yeah, it's a selfie. Yeah, he's walking. What do you mean?
Usually when you do a selfie,
yeah,
your arm's out.
His arm's just on the side.
His arm, it looks like it's done from...
It looks like he's trying to get the building in the background. That's what it looks like to me.
I think so, too.
Like he's just kind of walking on the side instead of front. Yeah. It's just like if you did your own little...
Has decided
yeah.
Will be normal.
He's the one holding...
I don't know, I don't really see his arm.
I thought you were making a ploy of his... Because this is technically a suicide.
No, I was saying... My point was, what person helps their friend do this? Okay,
but you're
there. There his arm.
But
you see his arm there
You
now.
both are missing the important point. He said he will no longer be complicit
in genocide. Like, he had a coffee canister filled with gasoline. And what does he do? Takes out a lighter.
And he is an active service member, right?
An active duty Air Force soldier. Army.
This does get blurred out.
No,
Air
Force.
Yes.
For anybody watching.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's an Air Force uniform.
This does get
Some
blurred
people
out.
on Twitter are saying he's Army, but that looks Air Force. And all the news headlines say Air Force, but then again, do we really trust them? Okay, as horrible as this is, I'm going to be devil's advocate here for a second. Can we not talk about for a minute the mental illness that this guy has to have? Who sets themselves on fire in a country that doesn't even border the country he's protesting for the moment? Like, he's screaming free Palestine, but he's setting himself on fire in America in front of the Israeli embassy. I'm just confused. And I'm also really concerned because this person was in our active duty American military, yet has this much mental illness that clearly did not go checked, let alone someone somewhere. Do we think that his superiors saw this? Because no one just goes from normal and sane and we're having morality to snapping and going crazy without someone noticing something.
So the Air Force did confirm that an active duty airman was involved, but they haven't identified him yet, I guess.
Well,
but
Twitter has.
But
Aaron
the video
Bushnell
was live streamed on Twitch, I guess, and I my,
The internet will find you out, okay? Except for the airplane woman. That was the one random thing that they couldn't, for the longest time, figure out who that lady was. But the internet will find you out. And the internet says that this person is Aaron Bushnell. And quite frankly, I trust the random people on Twitch and Instagram who have facial recognition software and found this guy on Facebook than CNN and MSNBC who say they don't know.
What is his goal?
That's what I want to know.
Well, I guess he said he was about to engage in an act of an extreme act of protest. So,
but that didn't help. It didn't do anything. Like, all you did was take your own life. Okay, I said this earlier, and Barry, I know you already disagree with me, but like, it kind of reminds me of the same mentality that somebody who would have like a kamikaze or suicide vest.
Right.
I know that in those cases, they were trying to hurt more people, but it's the same kind of twisted mentality of you just killed. Like,
yeah, but in a kamikaze, though, again, you kill. Your goal is to kill people.
Do we know that wasn't his goal to set the Israeli embassy on fire?
100% wasn't his goal. He's out in the park. He's out on the sidewalk. How is a sidewalk going to travel to a building?
All I know is that as of right now, even if this guy did have some sort of ultimatum or some kind of, I don't know, dossier, every single person who does whacked out stuff like this these days has it written somewhere what they intended on doing. And it usually gets covered up, depending on if they're queer or LGBTQ.
Yeah,
or
but I just don't understand his ultimate purpose here. Like, he's screaming in America, free Palestine. America isn't doing anything to the territory of Palestine, of Gaza, whatever it is.
We're not even sending really money or encouraging anything.
Well, they're sending money. They are sending money
to Israel.
Yes, but
wow,
but we can't tell Israel to not attack somebody, right? Like,
I'm thinking that's their own military and their own government's decisions there. But I'm curious, where is his outrage for Russia and Ukraine? Since, we're doing these outlandish, ridiculous ploys
to be fair,
like this.
Though, I mean, I'm sure he had the same thought.
Okay, but who else does? Because that's my whole point of this right now, is that this kind of mental illness somehow went either ignored or unnoticed in the military, and it got to the extreme of a guy doing this. So how many others are like him who could do a lot worse?
Yeah,
because it does not take that many people to cause a very large disaster to happen. 9/11, it only took a couple in our government.
It looks like he was an active duty airman for 4 years.
But
does he have like some kind of military PTSD guilt or something?
I think he was trying to make the point. I mean, his exact quote was, "I am about to engage in an extreme act of protest, but compared to what people have been experiencing in Palestine at the hands of colonizers, it's not extreme."
See that right there? That right there, they're colonizers.
And again, that's the trope of the left though right now too, is everyone who's for Palestine, for or against Israel, is that they're colonizers in Israel. And again, we've gone over that history. I think it's been done to death that the history is just it's history.
Dumb. Palestine doesn't exist.
There is no country on the planet, no territory on the planet that hasn't been conquered. Not one territory ever in history. And so the situation is, it's done, it's over with. In modern day, our goal is to not take territory. I think America was the first one to conquer Germany and give it back. I mean, no other countries really have done that in the past. Usually they would conquer and they take the territory. But in America, in modern day, we don't do that. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me 100% on that. But
well, I mean, again, if anyone had the power to, it would be us. Let's be honest. We go nuts when someone even tries to touch our boats, let alone touch, well, actually, I was going to say touch our land. But then again, how much land does China own in America these days? How much of our American Texas soil is owned by Chinese nationals?
Way too much. Way too much.
And then when you think about how many of the military-aged Chinese men are walking across the border, probably to those properties where they have most definitely some kind of installation set up there. But that's a whole nother tangent.
I don't know. I just
you know what's interesting about
that
video
crazy,
when
though,
it
Barry.
continues. So I don't know if it's the Washington police or if it's the ATF or like who it actually is, but somebody pulls their gun out on him. Somebody else is
You know
yelling.
what? If a dude lit
Someone
himself
else is
on
yelling,
fire in
"We
front of
need a
me, I
fire
think I might
extinguisher."
too.
So they track down the fire extinguisher, but definitely this man
Wouldn't you,
has
though?
some mental issues.
Wouldn't you though, Mom? Like that. A guy lights himself on fire in a military uniform in front of you, and your first thought is probably to pull your weapon and get
but
ready
here's
for
the
some
thing. So
shit to go down.
So this is my thing though too with you is you say this is a mental illness, and I do kind of agree. But
what else could it be?
But this famous act or action of burning himself was done by a Buddhist monk in 1963.
It didn't make sense then. It doesn't make sense now.
Well, I'm saying the guy did it in protest of the war in South Vietnam.
But
So,
that
hold on,
doesn't
let me finish.
do
So,
anything.
I agree with you. Well, it does. It brings attention technically. I don't know, like
Literally, everyone's attention is there.
Because
it certainly isn't on our own
I'm just saying,
problems.
like, that's, in my opinion, that's what I think this guy is trying to do.
Just bring attention.
He wants to bring attention to this situation and use this extreme situation of self-mutilating, of self-harm. Again, maybe he feels responsible for all the civilians.
That's what I said.
Being
Military
killed.
PTSD guilt. I don't.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm gonna call it.
I'm just
though.
saying.
No.
Like, again, I'm not trying to be devil's advocate here. I'm trying to come from his side. That he got to the point because this isn't a normal thing.
Setting yourself on fire?
You don't set yourself on fire.
No,
it's not normal at all.
really.
For you to do that, I'd say you have to go to extreme. I guess technically mental
Extreme
issues of strain of like you said, guilt maybe or something. But like, I don't know. Again, I come to the point to where I just don't know what he actually solves here. Because
he solved nothing.
Everybody knows about this. It's not like in the 70s or the 60s where we didn't have a 24/7 news cycle, where we don't have cameras everywhere. We do have it now. Everybody knows about these situations.
Yeah, everyone has it on their own phones, in their cars, on their houses. It's everywhere. If you wanted to get something out, it would not be that difficult. Now, granted, what is going to be hard is getting past the internet firewalls and fact checkers and community guideline violations, Lord forbid. But to get it out originally, it's pretty easy. Now, making sure it stays there and it doesn't violate community guidelines and get taken down for hate speech or domestic terrorism or acts of extreme violence, that is another story. I have been there many a time.
I would like to know what the guys who worked with him and like what his family is saying right now. Like, did they...
I'd be a little embarrassed if I'm being honest.
Well, I mean, did they see, like, has he always been this adamant, like, free Palestine? Like, did they see this coming? Or were they going to say, like, everybody always says, he's a great guy, we never saw it coming? I don't know. It makes me sad for him that he thought that this...
And he ended up losing his life in the process.
His life, yeah.
Well, I think he was prepared to lose it.
Well, obviously,
you don't set yourself on
yeah,
fire.
but we can still sit here and be like, that's tragic.
Head is what? Yeah. So.
That's all right. So people voluntarily taking their lives. What about all of the lives that are not involuntarily being taken across our country right now? Specifically, a mother and daughter who were killed after getting struck by a car going 70 miles per hour after leaving a Drake concert in St. Louis.
Oh, is this? This is the Colin Rugg one, right?
Yes,
but
you know
this
what?
Was a Drake concert, and
it was a Drake concert.
They were walking across the street, and some guy.
I don't think it really matters who, but
no, I think it does, because if you look at the guy who did it, it's not going to make national headlines for anything because of the way he looks. I'm just going to say that right now.
Well, I don't think I can show this on YouTube.
Probably not. I'm going to go with no.
Really weird.
It will make you just cry seeing it. That car speeds through red light, and the mother and daughter are walking across the street, hits them and throws them.
Can't see my mouse.
42-year-old mother. I'm not going to butcher her name.
I have a picture.
And her
here.
20-year-old daughter, Alyssa.
So I have the picture here. Basically, There's a car coming towards the camera almost. There's 3 people on the left walking in the crosswalk. Those 2 people that are on top here, they end up getting struck by a car going like 70 miles an hour. It is.
Can you show his mugshot?
It's
because
on
that's
here.
the reason why
on
it's
screen,
not
but
going to.
So the car ends up hitting the car that's trying to cross the intersection, and then the car hits the other 2 people down here. You can see their pictures here at the bottom.
But here's the thing. He's already been released.
But again, I can't see this.
As of right here, he's been out as of an hour ago. It says he's back on the streets after posting a $20,000 bail.
Well, yeah, he posted bail. I mean, that's not surprising, though. That doesn't mean he's out scot-free. He's on bail, guys. Like,
oh my gosh, seriously.
I
What do you mean
don't
seriously?
care. Honestly, when
you don't believe
murder
in bail?
someone...
Well, you guys don't believe in bail.
For murder? No.
This isn't murder. No, this is not murder.
Manslaughter?
Manslaughter is not murder.
Okay, fine. Manslaughter. I don't care.
It does. There's a difference.
He took his car and drove over a 42-year-old and a 21-year-old woman, and they're dead.
So you want to skip due process?
No, I want to skip bail on people who commit crimes that end other people's lives, because the likelihood that they go back out and do it again is so freaking high.
How do you know he committed a crime?
Well, if you look at
I'm going to go with the fact that he went 70 miles per hour
so
and
you guys
hit
don't
2
want
women.
to have a due process. You want
no,
to have
I would like process.
An instant thing?
I'm pretty positive.
No, it's not the instant, but I'm not saying let him out of jail. He sits there. Think about his actions. It's called a timeout. If I had to go through a timeout when I was younger, grown adults can go sit in some timeout too. Especially, I got put in timeout for stealing my brother's dessert.
He is on timeout.
He can go in timeout for killing 2 women. I don't care. I want him to sit there. I want him to sit in a jail cell with no blankets.
Oh, come on, Barry. You know
That's
that bail
ridiculous.
is just offered to the criminals, and the people that, like the ones from January 6th, they don't get any bail. They just have to stay forever. So you know that our justice system is not truly just. They apply the law the way they want to apply it to everybody.
And this guy
depending
is
upon who you
black
are.
with dreads. So, yeah. I'm sure if this was a white dude, he'd be sitting in prison.
I don't think that's true.
See, the thing is, I do.
Kyle Rittenhouse.
I've seen headline after headline after headline.
He got out on bail.
Self-defense.
He got out on bail.
We're really going to put self-defense in the same bucket as intentional
I am not
manslaughter.
equating this, and you know that I'm not. I'm talking about the process of due process and our bail system. We all agree that Kyle Rittenhouse was completely in the right. I understand that, but what you just said is someone murdered somebody, or manslaughter, or self-defense, killed somebody, died. They should have the opportunity to not rot in jail for 2 years. Until you can prove of actual malice and
we have a
wrongdoing.
video. We have a video, though.
They had video of Kyle Rittenhouse shooting people.
Yeah. As a mob chased him in self-defense. So?
He doesn't deserve bail? Kyle Rittenhouse shouldn't deserve bail. But I am trying to equate this equally and fairly that you're not doing.
No.
Okay, so fine. Let him have bail. But don't wait.
The judge was also a black woman. I'm just
court trial. Like, it needs to be something needs to happen.
They weren't even white.
Usually within a year or two. It's probably within a year they will go to trial. What about
his bond was $200,000?
Exactly, and your bail is usually 10% of that.
Yeah, the judge allowed him to post 10% cash only.
I'm not trying to.
Not even 24 hours.
I don't know if you have a bias here because of the situation, but I'm trying to be fair in our justice system, and I know our justice system is broken. I understand that, but again, with the Kyle Rittenhouse situation, he physically, literally, and I kid you not, killed 2 people with a gun. Yes, after everything, I understand. We agree. He was 100% in the right, and I agree with the situation of how it turned out. But are you telling me that Kyle Rittenhouse didn't deserve bail?
That was self-defense.
Okay, so
this is manslaughter.
Going back
with
to
a car.
The story,
to use this 100% personally.
You just kicked your tripod.
You guys know about my accident that I had where somebody died.
Yes.
Did I deserve to go to jail?
That was an accident.
This is an accident. We don't know what's going on.
Oh my gosh. You don't go 80 miles per hour and target. They were the only people out.
It wasn't a target. The guy ran a red light, hit a car, and then the car hit into a person.
Maybe he had a heart attack and his foot got stuck on the gas and he was charging through the intersection because
then he should be in a hospital, not out on bail.
You deserve your right to due process.
Fine. I don't agree with you. I think he deserves to rot.
Okay, but Savannah, I will
You
tell
were the
you.
one who literally told me that those two teenage boys who purposefully hit a kid on a bike.
Yes.
You remember what you said about them?
Yes, a fast trial.
You said public execution.
Yes, and I still stand by that. But they deserve a trial.
Yeah, this guy can have his trial.
I agree,
but the fact that
and they're
he
gonna
got out
have
after
his
24
trial.
hours.
This guy's gonna be a put on
This
trial.
seems to be what's wrong with our society.
The St. Louis police chief, Robert Tracy, said he's going to be held accountable.
And I agree.
He destroyed families.
I don't
killed
believe him.
2 people.
Him going
Although I
on
will
bail,
tell
guys,
you,
is not being just released and let go.
got it. His attorney though said that Monty, the dude who was speeding in the car and hit them,
Yes,
it's
Monty
a very
Henderson.
upstanding young man involved in academics and sports.
Well, I don't care about any of that
Fascinating.
stuff.
Because
That's just like
They're
the mother
always-
saying,
they're
"My kid,
always-
yeah, my kid's not." That's for any person. But
Okay.
I agree with you. This looks bad. The guy
that
looks
looks
like
worse
he's in
than bad.
like a city, like in a side of a city, and he's driving 70 miles an hour, probably on a 35. I understand that.
okay,
But the problem that I have with what you guys or what you've said was he doesn't deserve to be released on bail. He paid the fine. He's put up the money.
Great.
He deserves to have his court date, right?
Yeah, you can have
If he's
it.
a flight risk, that's different. That's all I'm saying, and that was what I have an
Barry,
argument with.
all I know is if history repeats itself like we all know it always does, this guy is gonna get off scot-free.
I don't think that's true. What about the Waukesha guy, the parade driver?
the one that just shot up the Chiefs parade after the Super Bowl.
No. The Waukesha.
Because they won't release anything from that.
Well, they did release.
I wonder why.
They did release. I don't know if you paid attention. They did release it.
Not all of it.
They did.
okay.
I haven't
Can we
seen
go
all
to
of
a
it.
different story though? Enough of the story. What about Georgia? We have a nursing student who
Yeah.
is living her own life and then is brutally murdered. And what is happening in our country right now that we just seem to think
Our
it's
justice
just
system doesn't actually hold people accountable
Yeah.
for killing.
Well, how was she
Yeah.
brutally murdered? I don't know anything about the
well,
story.
she
until you
shows
guys
up
told me
dead.
this
So I
morning.
guess
Okay.
she's jogging or something.
So a UGA nursing student was murdered by, yes, you guessed it, somebody who has crossed our border multiple times and has been arrested in New York City. Arrested and released over and over and over again. No connection to this girl. Didn't know her. Just because he wanted to. Why? I don't know. We can speculate his intentions. All I know is that he's a dude who shouldn't be in this country, has been, arrested and released over and over and over again, and decided one day to take this young nursing student's life. And people wonder why we conceal carry. Because random crap like this happens, and this guy is going to get away scot-free. If anything, he'll be deported again and then come back.
Yeah, I
Killed
don't
this
know.
student.
She died
Lachlan
from
Riley.
blunt force trauma to the head. So
Oh.
just a couple of hours ago, they said that the preliminary cause of death has been released by the coroner. Blunt force trauma to the head. So someone who was in the prime of her life, going to school, wanting to be a nurse, and who killed her? Someone who shouldn't even have been in our. And here's the interesting thing. So I guess it's been reported that, at least initially it was reported that he was from Venezuela, but
now they're saying he's
but
just
now
from
they're
Georgia.
just saying the Athens man. So they're just
Mhm.
calling, just some random man who happens to live in Georgia. What are we doing? Trying to hide the actual point of the story, that it was an illegal, someone who shouldn't even be here, whose brother, by the way,
Yeah.
has had been convicted of all sorts of things. His brother who beat up, Border Patrol guy and then got off because he said he had epilepsy.
And get this.
and makes
he's been
fake-
arrested in New York
Is
before.
this the nurse Lakin Riley?
Yes.
So Jose
Lakeland Riley.
Ibarra.
Yeah, he's been
let me pull this
arrested
up.
in New York before because he was driving around on a motorcycle with his 5-year-old son strapped to the back without a helmet or anything.
Oh, come on. That's not.
I don't
That's not a serious
remember.
thing.
I
Like,
don't remember
Okay,
hearing that.
fine.
He was arrested,
not very serious
but
thing.
he's also
but
illegal.
I do think it might show his lack of his care for, I don't know, life or his son. But then after that incident, he ended up moving to Georgia with his brother, Diego.
So why was he in New York?
Because that's where he lived with his wife and his 5-year-old kid.
So I'm confused. So does he live in Georgia or does he live in New York?
He lived in New York. He had a bunch of different altercations with police, then decided to move down to Georgia with his brother Diego without his wife and his child, and then he just killed Riley earlier this week.
So that's what I mean. He was back up in New York for some weird reason.
No, he was killed. She was killed in Georgia. Barry.
Oh, okay. See, that's what
this is the University
Again,
of Georgia
I don't know anything about the story
student.
other than what you guys just told me. So that's why I'm trying to figure it out.
She was trying to become a nurse.
I see.
So I guess,
and his brother has been arrested for drunk driving and faking green cards.
Yeah, the green card things is what with his brother he makes. Anyway, I guess they're both undocumented. Maybe that's a nice way of saying illegal.
Undocumented, illegal. They shouldn't be here. And guess what happens when people, especially it seems like women, get killed in this country?
How is he? It says here that he worked for DoorDash, Uber Eats, and stuff like that. How? If he's
because they pander.
Well, I mean,
no,
what do you mean?
So you can't. You need to prove that you're a citizen of the United States.
Right.
Or have
My dude here is faking green cards.
So.
It is easy. It is just sign up and you can work for him.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say it's not that difficult to trick DoorDash.
I agree. It's actually probably really.
Like, let's be honest. They're not looking for your full social security and your present address.
Now, don't get me wrong. DoorDash and stuff like that
phone
sucks.
number.
Their payment's god awful. But
well, that's not the point. The point is they should not be here. And just like it, what keeps on happening is young women and girls in this country get killed, get murdered, get manslaughtered, whatever the heck you want to call it. And the people who commit these horrendous crimes don't ever get put in timeout, get justice.
Well, it's what was it, a couple weeks ago.
Anything?
The guys that attacked the officers. And they all got released, and they were flipping off the cameras, doing the Tupac moment or whatever on media.
Yeah, you're talking about the ones in New York.
With their Nike and their nice clothes.
So why is it always like these blue cities? I'm assuming in Georgia. Was this in Atlanta? Is that what happened here? A sanctuary city? I'm assuming. Maybe I don't know if Atlanta is a sanctuary city, but I mean, was this Atlanta where it happened?
This entire country is a sanctuary city.
Well,
they go where they want.
But I'm saying like. It's just a common thing. And why are we still allowing this?
Because
why
give these idiots
why do people
bail? That's what. We let them go.
Well,
they get arrested and they get released.
I don't believe a non-citizen has the same rights as an American, and I don't believe they should get bailed. I believe Americans should get bailed. There is a distinction there.
It does. I don't know. You see so many different reports, but I'm not sure he was released because I've seen that he was.
Oh my gosh! Thank God
probably.
They didn't release an illegal who's not supposed to be here, who's been arrested and released multiple times, and now he's not being released after he murdered a young, pretty nice little med student who is studying to be a nurse in Georgia. Hallelujah! Do they want a gold star for that? Honestly.
It just
all right. So
justice needs to be served, though. In this case, that
it never will.
I'm so sorry for to have to see what's happening in the. How many people are coming across illegal, knowing that it's just they would be the fact that our quote unquote president was allowing all these illegals to cross over.
Well, onto something a little kind of more not treacherous. Were you guys affected by the cell phone outage?
Nah, I wasn't even awake.
What characters do you guys have?
Verizon?
Provider? Yeah,
Verizon.
So my understanding, it was AT&T was the biggest hit.
Verizon was also
it was
hit,
because of the
apparently,
strike, though.
allegedly, everything was hit.
Right.
But AT&T apparently was like the biggest for some reason, and it had lingering
That's all I
effects.
saw on Facebook.
But the thing is, I was out driving all morning, so driving Uber. I have T-Mobile. I had no issues whatsoever.
Wait, you had T-Mobile, and so you were good.
I had nothing. No issue. I was literally out from 5 a.m. until probably about 10 a.m. And then I went back out in the afternoon. But I did notice on Friday, so at the airport, everything is electronically to get into the airport. The toll tag, whatever, whatnot, to get in there. I did notice it was taking forever on Friday afternoon to get into the airport. There was lines. It was really weird at both entrances all afternoon. And when I got there, normally it's like a quick, no more than 5 seconds for me to get through. And
so your point is you didn't notice anything.
Well, no, I'm saying I found it interesting. I think that they just got overloaded. Is what was going on.
Well, they claimed that it was because of an AT&T worker strike, but a lot of the people on the internet thought that we had been cyberly attacked.
Well, also another thing is a solar flare is what I want to get at too, and I don't think it's a solar flare because a solar flare will like everything. But that's my point. Is I think this was,
I was asleep.
We'll never know.
It was a test.
We'll never. I believe it was a cyber attack. I don't really have much to base that on. No evidence, but it's a gut feeling.
Well, AT&T just said 2 hours ago that they will provide a $5 credit to customers who are potentially impacted by Thursday's widespread network outage.
Or they say that they'll give you a day's credit.
$5?
$5 credit is the cost of essentially a full day of service.
Well, that would have pissed me off because, again, I use my phone to make money. If I wasn't able to drive, I would be so angry because I would the whole day of not being able to make money. I actually noticed the difference because it was surging all day long. It was actually really good for me. But
AT&T are saying that it appears to be the result of a technical error.
Yeah, well, that's what they came out
not
and said.
A malicious attack. But you and I, we all know.
If it was an attack, they wouldn't tell us because it would cause great panic. But
the incident was due to an error in coding.
Yeah,
what they said.
That's what they said. But the thing is, again, it affected different companies, right? It didn't just only affect AT&T. And so the theory was a solar flare.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, the solar flare didn't affect everything. I don't believe you. It was only kind of targeted. And I don't know if this was worldwide or if it was just America.
Okay, so I don't see it when I'm searching today, but when they were talking about it the other day when it was happening, it was saying that it was happening worldwide. Mm-hmm. So I think it's very interesting now when you search, you don't see those same articles pop up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, whatever it was, hope everyone can survive without their cell phones. Barry, you can't. Sorry, you're going to starve, possibly die.
No, if the grid goes down, everyone's life is going to change. So,
well, you know what they say, when the grid supposedly goes down, 25% of everyone's going to be dead within like the first month.
Yeah, because there won't be any food, water.
Or no, they'll be rioting and looting.
Well, that too.
They're going to do that first. They're going to go basically raid all the Best Buys and the Nike outlets, realize that's absolutely pointless to survive in a civilization that doesn't have the internet or care about fashion. And then they'll die. Actually, they might kill each other first, and then they'll die.
So you weren't affected, though?
No.
Okay, you being a Gen Z, I feel like I remember seeing a bunch of TikToks of people freaking out because they didn't know what to do. It's almost like a proof that they did freak out.
I saw the aftermath. Yeah. I just didn't care.
I'm just saying, without their phones, I feel like your generation can't survive in without something distracting them at all times. You get what I'm trying to say?
Okay, I get your point. But
I find it funny.
Those are the mentally ill, they desperately want human interaction, but they do not know how to do it in real life, kind of crazy people. The rest of us who actually go outside and breathe fresh air and see the sun, I think will live.
So I just think it's interesting. So I don't think we were really affected on Wednesday. Wasn't it Wednesday?
I think it was
but
Thursday.
Also Wednesday, but I was disgustingly sick.
So you weren't paying attention. But I will tell you, with an iPhone, you get that message popping up all the time that you're in SOS mode.
I hate that.
And I will tell you,
I will tell you
that to me happens so frequently these days.
What is that?
On a regular basis?
It does.
It'll just randomly out of service.
It means
I have no idea. I don't even know what it means.
Shore. It's not that's not what the SOS means.
SOS, it actually pops up on your phone, and when you're trying to send stuff through or whatever,
just goes
nothing
out.
works. So I will tell you on a regular basis.
So it's like service out of sink or something like that.
Save our ship.
Well, that's what I mean.
It's from a long time ago.
It's not someone's on shore. I mean,
I would be curious as to if that was happening to other people, because I would say over the past few months, I think my phone goes into SOS mode on a regular basis.
Yes.
As compared to, say, a year ago or 5 years ago.
and that could be because we are being cyber attacked.
Yeah. Could be.
I don't remember who. I want to say it was the director of national security.
Said to be ready for something, because
He-
all
you know
those
what I'm talking
Chinese
about.
males
what
coming
video I'm
across
talking
the
about.
border.
He said, like, I think it was
ready
like 6
for-
months ago. He's like,
Yeah.
something. We're an intimate attack of some sort of cyber attack, which is, I mean, kind of scary. Because I mean, some serious stuff can go down if that happens.
I think some scary stuff will happen, but I'm also kind of intrigued in a weird way.
Yeah, but that's because you have some weird like
I could survive.
what was it? When we were talking about it last time, and you were just like so nonchalantly like, "Oh, Civil War, world's gonna end, World War III." You're like, bring it on." And like,
well,
your mom
what else
and
are
I
you
are
supposed
like,
to do?
This
Well,
is,
I
this
think
is
that might be a
actually
survival.
serious.
That might be a survival mechanism too, because what do you have to do except go, okay, thank goodness I'm on the right team, and thank goodness I have Jesus, because you know what? He's ultimately in control.
Not even
so-
that. Like, I already know where I'm going to go when I die. That's not what I was talking about. What I was talking more about was like the fact that like I'll survive. Just listen, there's a lot of people out there who's like, "Oh yeah, we'll survive. Oh, we're going to do great." And I'm like, "Okay, can you start a fire? Can you forage? Do you know what poison ivy looks like?" And I'm like, "Oh, you're going to be one of the first to go." If and when it happens, because we know it'll happen eventually. That's why I'm excited to see that movie that's going to come out in April called Civil War. Yes. I'm excited for that one to come out because
it
it's
looks, from what
I
little
thought
I
you
saw,
didn't watch trailers,
from the couple
Barry.
images, like the first 10 seconds that I watched, I was like, "Oh, okay, this looks legit."
It looks pretty good.
And then yes, I turned it off because yes, I don't watch trailers because they ruin movies.
Well, we're going to go see it because I think it's going to be kind of a reality wake-up check.
I just think it'll be a fun movie as a movie standards
I'm just
go.
surprised a movie like that got even made.
Yeah, I don't know. It
Like,
could
that
be the
seems a little
predictive
weird, but whatever.
programming. Who knows?
Speaking of programming, who here, Mom, this is more your generation, the Beatles. Is that your generation?
That was
That's before her generation.
before my generation.
Whatever,
but thanks for
whatever,
aging me quite a
whatever.
bit more there.
So I'm confused why this just got discovered recently. I could literally care less about the Beatles. All I know is,
They're the most overrated band ever.
yeah, I
And
really could care less.
guarantee
Their
I just got a
haircuts
lot
look
of
terrible.
dislikes for that.
But the Beatles, they're a band. What else do you have to say? But apparently
overrated.
their album cover for 1966 just got rediscovered. And I'm confused why it just got rediscovered, because literally it's them surrounded by aborted babies.
It looks like maybe, some sort of murdered babies from the Beatles cover, but
Is this
I-
really?
yeah,
album
I don't
cover?
know. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, look, there's like 9 different versions of like them posing around what looks to be a studio with covering themselves with bloody limbs
But
and plastic baby dolls that are missing body parts.
But just take it for the point that it is. The movie industry, the music industry
They're
is
sick.
pretty sick and gross, and they're
Perverted.
pure evil and perverted. Yeah. So I mean,
But what this guy on Twitter wanted to point out, though, is that their manager at the time was Brian Epstein, supposedly Jerry Epstein's
Jeffrey.
uncle.
that's
Jeffrey.
somehow related.
Jeffrey.
We're not sure about that, but it
Brian
is
Epstein,
definitely
Jeffrey Epstein.
interesting.
So I just Googled this, and it says rare, like these album covers, and so there's a vinyl that's like $52. There's one that says that it's $1,200. There's one that even says it's $6,500.
You can find it on Etsy for as low as $31.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, I'm sure there's some sort of
Yeah.
like mint condition stuff like that, but like, this is apparently a rare printings, but
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I don't
because it's
know.
rare, we're supposed to be like, oh, it's
No,
fine.
I'm saying like I'm just pointing that out that it's kind of rare.
All I want to say is the Beatles freaked me out when I heard that John Lennon had made a comment actually in March of that same year that this album came out, where he said that they were more popular than Jesus, and then the band broke up like right after.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think, now that I see this album cover and I know what John Lennon had said that year, it's no wonder their band broke up. They decided to do a disgusting photo shoot with dismembered babies. They said that they were more popular than Jesus, and then their band broke up. Poetic.
It's just evil. The picture
evil.
that
Talk
I'm
about
looking
irony.
at is just.
Well, I want to know what the actual purpose of this was supposed to be. What were they trying to say?
Why do you have to understand the music industry's purpose?
No, so I don't know if they came up with the thing or they had like the industry come up with it, like their record company, but I don't understand what they're trying to do. Like, what are they trying to say here?
The Beatles were a weird group though, because they had an album called Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club, like the Yellow Submarines, and I don't know.
Well, the Yellow Submarine was apparently just to be my understanding, it was like a play, a joke, because there was so the Beatles were so big that they were being studied by colleges and like courses on their albums and their songs.
So history does really repeat itself.
Well, no. So my point is like what they would do. I think Yellow Submarine was supposed to be outlandish and supposed to be like, you guys should do this and try and say what this says, but but we just basically created something completely random. Doesn't have any actual meaning, and just say that the people will find meaning in anything, which I do find kind of funny.
Well, you said that people were studying the Beatles,
but that's what it was. I'm pretty sure that's what it was supposed to be.
Okay, that's weird. But if that is true, that they were studying the Beatles because they were so big in the music industry, history really does repeat itself. Because did you know that a college campus is offering a course of study specifically on, you guessed it, Taylor Swift?
Well, yeah, because they're so big. They're popular.
I know, but a college course on it. Okay, listen, I am in college right now. I'm a junior, okay? This past week, I had to study fake news and cancel culture. Ironically, one of the things that they taught about in this class, specifically for chapter 9, this week's reading, was about how the Trumpers and the deplorables have marketed this stigma of fake news and fake news perpetrators. It was a whole freaking thing. But college is a sham, okay? They're out here offering courses on Taylor Swift, yet for some reason we're honestly supposed to sit here and actually say to ourselves and to others, hey, when you get this degree, that makes you more intelligent and more sought after in the business and job field because you have this. But they offered crazy stuff like this.
Okay, so let's just talk about degrees. So all the people who decided to go to college and take out loans, we, the taxpayers, thanks, Mr. Pretend President, just again decided to forgive all those loans because, it'll help the economy if we forgive how many billions of dollars worth of college loans.
Shame on you. You paid for my school.
I know. Darn it that your dad and I worked our butts off from the moment we found out we were pregnant with you to save for your college so that we could pay for your college.
Suckers.
Yeah, when we should have just been on the lam and been like, is that the right saying? Been on the lam?
Whatever it is. Mom, why didn't you freaking put me in Harvard University so I could go take BS courses about Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
And then not pay for it?
I don't know. And then say, come on, Joey, can't you pay for it?
I don't want to pay for it.
So Joe thinks that the plumbers, the electricians, the people who work for a living and have jobs that didn't necessarily go to college should pay for all of the people who did go to college, who got degrees in things that we don't even understand, like... What are some of those crazy degree names?
Like gender studies.
Basket weaving.
And
basket weaving and gender. Yep.
Basket weaving used to be something that just everybody did just to survive.
Yeah, but you don't need a degree in basket weaving.
No, duh. Like, really? Really? This...
Yeah, you don't even...
I know people don't like calling things retarded, but can this be considered retarded?
This is the biggest problem about that too. Here's the issue. We are in $33 trillion, coming up on $34 trillion in debt.
But it's okay
But
to
it's
pay
okay
a couple
to
of billion
forgive loans
for
for people that chose
to do it.
I understand that
No one
at
forced
18
them.
years old, they don't understand. I didn't understand when I got my loans either. I just went along because I was told since freaking grade school I needed to go to college. You have to go to college. Blah, 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 blah. It was burned in my mind. I didn't want to go to college. But, like, I'm ultimately responsible for that period. End of story.
Yeah,
Barry.
Pay it
When you were
back,
18,
Barry.
you didn't know that what you wanted to be when you grew up. So you needed to go to college.
Well, that's for dang sure.
You needed to go to college so you could figure it out. But yet you could be 15,
I still don't know
16,
what I wanna
17,
do.
and you could choose to cut off all of your genitalia. You know enough when you're a minor to be able to choose what sex you want to be for the rest of your life. But yet you don't know what you want to do with your life. It's so ironic what things they allow. Oh, yeah.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, right, Mom? They get to chop off their wieners and their boobs,
Correct.
but
because they're
they
smart
can't
enough to
decide
know
their
that. But
career that they could change.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Because that's the crazy upside down world we're living in. Hey, Barry, will you show that video of the illegal immigrant who doesn't want to work because he has a kid who gets money? And so why work?
Wait, what does that mean? Let me pull this up here.
It's just, our illegals have already figured out how to work the system.
A Charo Leonela. Miren esta preciosura, hermosa, bella. Muchachos, ella es la que me mantiene. Por eso yo no trabajo. Porque el
He says,
gobierno
I have no
le
need
da
to
lo que le
work because, well,
pertenece
guys,
a mi hija.
as you know, this little princess is already is already being American, already receives a lot. And, well, like other guys, look at, here you can see the art made reality. And, well, guys, many wanted to know where I pay the money from. Where do I get the money from, guys?
Okay, we get the
point. On to
point.
say, so for having a baby in America, they've hit the lottery.
The anchor baby situation.
Yeah, they hit the lottery. So the illegal doesn't need to go to work because.
But I don't understand. So I didn't know this was a thing. So wait, an illegal immigrant comes.
Mm-hmm.
Did he have a baby with an American?
No, if you have a child inside American borders, they're automatically an American citizen.
Which is stupid.
But
okay, how do we Barry, how do we fix that? What do we do? Because do we have to go through some process to prove that your family has been here for, X number of generations before we count them as American citizens? Yes, it's screwed up, but any other way involves way too much government overreach in our lives. That kid should be an American citizen, but the family should not get it just because they're related.
Well, here's the thing though. His point that he's saying is that's why I don't work. Because she is an American citizen. So this little baby who is an American citizen. When we lived in San Diego and all the people who were coming across the border from Tijuana and then they would have the baby in America, that baby was an American citizen. So gets all of the rights and everything that an American citizen would get. That's why.
So how does the baby make money?
There's lots of ways to apply the system.
Would it be the whole Medicaid, Medicare system, and then you get to apply for obviously the illegals
so the baby
have figured out the system.
I don't understand.
I want to figure out the
understand
system.
how.
I want it.
I understand that you get like a stipend or something like that in welfare.
Barry,
per
it's not
child.
for you to understand. Your money's just going towards it.
But no,
don't ask questions.
I don't understand. No, that's the whole point of this conversation we're having. What are you talking about?
Well, so it's because
don't ask questions.
I know you're being sarcastic, but I'm just saying, like,
submit, you white male.
That's why we have to end the birthright citizenship. Because here's the thing. So Barry, if Savannah's dad and I went over to, I don't know, where would we want to go? Okay, maybe we went to Australia for a visit and I happened to be pregnant and Savannah was born in Australia. There's no way in the world that she would have been an Australian citizen or for any other country we went to.
Didgeridoo.
Okay.
I could have a fabulous accent.
So, I mean, America's like the only place that does that and says, oh, you had your baby here. Okay, you've hit the gold mine.
Again, I'm still stuck. I agree. And I think we should change that. It shouldn't just be just because you're born on American soil. Doesn't make you American citizen. I think you need to prove yourself other ways. But I don't understand how an illegal immigrant who doesn't work gets money from a child that can support them to somehow get money enough for him that he doesn't want to work.
Well, so it is also being reported that his opportunism is in serious trouble. Somebody said CPS has opened an investigation. He's being cited. So we'll see what happens. Not that I say CPS
so he
is
outed
good,
himself because he's a moron.
So CPS might actually do one good thing. That would be a first.
Yeah. Not to mention, just think about this. Is that baby actually any relation to him? Is that baby actually...
Where is the baby? That's what I want to know.
And then, I mean, there's so many issues about this that makes
Where's
me...
the baby,
he has
Mom?
a slim, shady hair, the bleached hair.
Gross.
Yeah, I don't know. It makes me question.
So he went on TikTok, bragged about this, and got reported.
And now he's being
got reported by INS or something like that.
Ironic.
What a moron! What's wrong with people today?
So, I mean, some people say it's going to take a constitutional amendment of some sort to be able to end birthright citizenship.
Which we need to do. We need to get rid of it.
I don't know how. I don't.
What do you mean? What are you thinking?
Okay, this is my thought. The government does everything that they possibly can to screw us over.
What is the role of the government?
Supposed to be.
Should there be their role, or what
correct.
is it?
I agree. What should
Foreign
be?
affairs and national policy.
To protect us, and that's about it. Correct.
They suck at that.
Well, they fail at that.
That's all the federal government should be done, right? It's just to protect us.
If we get rid of it, how do we prove that you deserve to be an American citizen? Because if it's going to be to the power of the state or the federal government, they could look at a family of conservatives, big political figures. They could look at Ted Cruz. Next time Ted Cruz has a baby, be like, your kid's not an American citizen, deported. And they won't be able to say anything because the government now gets to decide who qualifies as an American citizen.
We live in 2024, okay? There's records
that
of
is
your
not
birth.
A flex.
No, my point is there are records now of everywhere that you're born. You know where you're born. You have records of where you were born, which hospital.
Except for Obama. We don't know where Obama was born.
Actually, that did come out that he was born in Africa. That was
please. They will totally make up whatever they want to make up.
We're not getting in that tangent.
You were the one who said that we know where everybody is born.
But you know what my point is. There's records. And even like if you do a home birth,
maybe
there's records of that, correct? That you were born on American soil. I'm saying I don't believe being born on American soil gives you the proper right of being a citizen, even if you are born in America by American families. I think you need to.
I mean, if we snuck across the border and went into Canada, and Savannah, if I had you in Canada, they would not call you a Canadian.
Oh my gosh. If you got to be if I got to be birthed by you anywhere else, please don't pick Canada.
Okay, well,
can't you go somewhere interesting?
It's not something that she's ever going to choose because you're already here, so you can't be born again.
No.
From
next step
canal.
in the identifying phase is identifying as being born again. I will crawl back inside my mother's womb and be born.
My question is this though too: how have you ever? I don't think you guys have seen this. Have you ever heard of the movie Starship Troopers? Okay, I know you haven't. I understand. But you might have. So it's basically a movie in the 90s of like this futuristic world where they have to fight aliens. And the whole premise of them becoming a citizen is service guarantees citizenship.
So the Roman Empire?
I don't know.
The Roman Empire had 3 ways that you could become a citizen. 1, you paid for it. 2, you fought in their army. Or 3, you did basically that.
Okay, then sure. I don't know about paying for it is a good avenue, but I think servicing.
Well,
but I don't mean service as in like you have to go on the front line, but like it could be like a service, maybe to like a like a charity of some sort, working somehow to prove that you want to be a citizen of that country. I think Vivek even talked about this.
I believe this was a common meme where we said if illegal aliens wanted to have citizenship in America, that they would have to go fight predators, and we would call it alien predators. Hey, I'm all for that. Hey, if this guy wants to go fight and find pedophiles and child rapists and go make them disappear and give them citizenship, I'm down.
Because he's doing a service for our country.
Yeah.
He's proving it.
But if you get caught, you automatically don't get it.
On that note, what about the theory of the administration is allowing all of these illegals to come in to fight our World War III. Eventually, it's going to happen. They want the bodies.
That sounds about as ridiculous as the lady on The View saying that we
can't.
Yeah,
they're allowing all these people to come into our country, and we're going to be fighting against us.
No. Our recruiting numbers. We go to war with Russia because all the stupidity that we're doing. We go to war with Syria, and World War III happens. Recruitment doesn't work because Americans don't want to go fight, so they make the illegal. So listen, that's my point.
I'm a woman.
And I want to go fight because I don't believe our country has our best things. But I'm saying what they do is they bring all these illegal citizens. Hey, do you want citizenship? Come fight against Russia for us for the next 2 years. And if you somehow manage to survive, you now are a citizen of America.
Barry, why would anybody do that? They get all of the stuff, they get all the goods from America as is right now, just being illegal. Why would they do something that gave it to them legitimately?
I'm just trying to say, like, there's that theory of that. And so, I don't know. It's just...
Listen, they're going to try to force us all to die off before they do their people who are going to vote for them no matter freaking what. And if that ever does happen, I'm a woman. So, one, I'm not going. Even if I wasn't a woman, I'm still not going. But
did you ever wonder why so many guys identify as women now?
That actually would be
you know that's one of the reasons. If you identify as a woman, then not only do you get to have sex with whoever you want if you go to prison, but
no, the requirement should be that you have to be pregnant.
Men can get pregnant now, you know?
No, you have to actively have a baby in you, not just say you're pregnant. That's my requirement now.
We are so messed up. My
and
mind
if that's
can't
the case,
even
oh well, sucks to suck. Our government can just go eat themselves off a cliff. All of our problems would simply just disappear. But you know what? That is a conversation for a different day. I think next time we should do an entire episode of what will happen if an EMP goes off, when World War III or Civil War II happens, and then what our game plan is. And if anyone wants to join us, we can give them the secret location of our base. That does not exist yet.
A bad idea.
I was trying to be nice, Barry. Gosh. All right, y'all. Well, if you would like to follow us on all of the social medias, they will all be listed down below. So please go check all of them out because Lord knows which one will be disappearing next or get put in timeout. So you want to make sure that you hit every single one so you can get notifications on all of them. Anyway, that is all for today. We will see y'all next week.